Before we start this video proper, I want to let you guys know that I just noticed that Tungsten has uploaded his own video on the CEDA. His is a red CEDA blaster, and in my opinion, it is a pretty solid video to watch. Very comprehensive, pretty darn in-depth. So please check it out because he covers quite a lot of things that I don't even cover in my first impressions video. Shout out to Tungsten, man. Good job. And let's move on to the actual video. Hey, what's up good people, and welcome to an update video where I tell you about the CEDA blaster and my first impressions on it. You guys are really awesome. The response was really overwhelming for the video that I posted yesterday, the update video, the unboxing of the CEDA. And after thinking about it, I was like, I owe you guys an update at least. I know a lot of you were sounding a little bit disappointed that I might only be able to tell you more about it over the weekend, and so I managed to finish work early. I got off work as soon as I could. I came back home, assembled the CEDA blaster, and I've been spending the last 4 hours with this guy. It is pretty late at night right now. It is past midnight here in Singapore. But I've got a pretty good feel for the first impressions video, and I thought that I would share it with you guys so that there's something for you all to look forward to. So first of all, my CEDA blaster is in blue. I picked the blue because, in my opinion, I think that the red looks a little bit dull. I like red. Red is my favorite color, but I was kind of hoping for like the Mega Dart Blaster red, but in the end I chose blue because that was a little bit, like I said, dull. So first impressions, I have assembled a CEDA blaster. It's really simple to assemble right out of the box. It's just two halves that you kind of fit together, and I will do a teardown at the end of the video because first of all I want to show you how it works. I want to give you a firing demonstration and all that kind of stuff. And I must say that assembly initially out of the box was really simple, really straightforward. Yes, I read the manual first of all, but once you read it, you realize that it's a really simple process, and the blaster actually feels pretty solid. There's no wobble between the two parts. If you guys are wondering if these two are actually kind of wobbly, they are not. They sit kind of well together, and all the parts that I'm using in there is all the stock parts that come with the CEDA blaster itself. And someone on Facebook asked if I actually received 2 bolt sleds, and yes, I totally missed that out, guys. I don't even know how I glazed over that in my unboxing video, but right here you can see that it is a red colored bolt sled in there, and also I have the clear bolt sled. I don't know the difference between the two, but it is nice to know that it is in that package. Also, they give you an extra silicone ring. This is for the plunger tube, and they also give you another O-ring, and that is for the plunger rod. It is I won't say it's a replacement piece, but it's an extra piece. Now, the blaster itself feels quite solid, but there are some detractors. I'm going to share them with you as I go along. But yes, the stock is adjustable. There is a pull tab here, so it's not like the usual press kind of system, but it's a pull tab, so you pull it downwards and then you can adjust it. So for the first time when you're installing the stock into the buffer tube, you got to make sure that you pull this really far down as possible so that you can slide it on. And so you got to do the same thing when you're taking it off. It's actually really simple. You've got a sling point here, and you've got 2 other rings over here that I highly do not suggest you use as sling points. Now, some people have mentioned, yeah, that's cool, you actually have 2 points where you can use as a sling, but it's actually really easy to pull out. Look, it just comes right out like that. And it is one of those kind of pins where it's kind of like a ball bearing with a little bit of spring tension. So that's actually really easy to put in and take out. And the short one goes in on the back. There is a longer one that goes in on the front here. You guys saw how simple that is, right? So that is the reason why I do not suggest that you kind of put your sling point here on these pull rings. Now, the nice thing about these pull rings is that it's ambidextrous, so you can have it on either side. So for me, I'm left-handed, so I keep it on this side, on the right side of the blaster, because these are towards my body in here. I mean, just imagine if you have this pull ring out here, and when you're running, it snags onto something and it comes right out during gameplay or when you're in the midst of everything. So that's something that you want to kind of avoid. Now, I'm just going to jump straight into the firing demonstration. Someone asked if this actually really works with both full-length darts and Stefan darts. And so I have a standard Nerf mag with some scotch tape, sorry. But yes, I have a standard Nerf mag with full-length darts in there. There are 6. Is that 6? Yeah, there are 6 streamline darts and 6 vinyl tip darts. 6, yeah, I'm sorry guys, it's late at night. So basically you just hammer it in and we can fire away, and I'll show you guys that feeding is actually pretty good. all out, no jams, pretty solid. Put this mag aside, and since I'm at it, I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit about this thing that I pointed out yesterday. This is a safety switch, like a, you know, basically push it in and then you won't be able to depress the trigger. Even if you pull it back and you prime the blaster, you won't be able to pull the trigger unless you push it from the other side and you disengage that safety lock, then you can squeeze the trigger. So now I'm going to ease the spring. Alright, so that's something that I wanted to point out to you guys. I'll get to that in a short while. Okay, so here is a Stefan mag, 5 felt tip slug darts, and I've got 5 Stefans with random silicone tips in there. Feed this right here, and once again, feeding is actually pretty good. That's 5 of the random silicone tip darts and they're flying everywhere, and now we're on to these slugs. All out with no problem. So feeding for Stefans is pretty good as well. Last but not least, you realize I haven't spoke to you guys about the mag that came with the CEDA. And I was reading the instructions, and then the instructions mentioned that you're supposed to feed your darts or insert your darts into the mag in a single orientation. And then that made me realize that this mag is ambidextrous or dual direction. So you could have the mag in either way. Let me show you what I mean. I'm gonna pull this back. So I'll insert the mag this way. So it locks in there. Comes right out. Flip the mag around. Locks in there. Not a problem. So this is what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna load 5 darts in one orientation and 5 darts in another orientation, and we're gonna fire all of them off. Okay, let's just try this out. So I've got these accurate darts, these nipple tip darts. I'm gonna put them all in this direction. That's 5 in this orientation, and I'm gonna switch the orientation. I got 5 vinyl tip darts, orange tip with white foam bodies. There we go. 5 white darts facing this way and 5 black darts facing this way. Here we go. Now I gotta change the orientation. You guys saw the tip of the dart, right? Here we go. Oh no. Everything's dropping. But all out, guys. So that's really interesting. That's something that I wanted to point out to you guys. That this mag feeds in both directions. Maybe I shouldn't have thrown that mag. Wait. And so how does that compare with the Nerf mag? Now, Nerf mags, you guys know that Nerf mags actually have this little tab on one side. But that doesn't really matter when we're talking about the CEDA. The only thing that matters is that you need to cut out another notch here if you want a dual facing mag or double-sided facing mag. Let me show you what I mean. We could insert the mag in the wrong direction and it goes in all the way. The only problem is that it's being held in now by the breech and not by this. As you can see, there is a gap here. So the mag release lever is actually being pushed back because there is no notch in the mag for it to lock in. So it actually works both directions, which is honestly pretty cool. Something I wanted to point out to you guys. Now next is the dart fit of the barrel itself. Now the barrel dart fit is not a snug fit, it is a loose fit. Yep, but not bad actually, not bad. This thing seals pretty alright. It doesn't hold 100% seal, but seals not bad. So now I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the things that I do not like about the blaster. The things that make me the most uncomfortable. I'm left-handed, like I mentioned. So most of the time if I'm handling it, I'm going to have it unlocked, right? So the safety switch is off. But then it sticks out here. And so that rubs against my finger. See that? Each time I move my hand, it's going to rub against this safety switch, and that is actually pretty uncomfortable because it bites right into this part of my hand right here. The next thing, and this is the biggest detractor of all, is that the pump grip, although it looks really cool, it is really big and chunky. Number one, it doesn't have a back plate or a wall here for you to rest your palm against. It does have thumb grooves on the side, so you could rest your thumb and index finger here comfortably. But these ridges here, although they do provide a nice grip, they are actually pretty uncomfortable. They start to bite into your hand, especially on your thumb if you're holding it this way. It's kind of hard for me to explain it to you guys. You have to try it out for yourself to understand. This is really not comfortable at all. When I have my fingers up here, whether it's my middle finger, fourth finger, or my thumb up here, it's just really uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to the point that I don't even want to grip it up here so I could climb it back. And because of this, I naturally kind of gravitate towards having my index finger on the front here, using that as a gripping or vantage point to pull back instead, so that it requires less pressure to push on the sides, because that is really uncomfortable. The next thing really is just the tolerances of this. I'm going to show you something that is going to be a little bit cringe-worthy. So yeah, let's talk about that as we disassemble the blaster, shall we? Okay, here we go. So I'm going to try and take the stock off first of all, because it seems to be the easiest thing to take off. Just pull this tab right here. See that? Yep. Just pull it as far as I can, and I'm gonna try to push it. There we go. So you gotta get it past this initial wall before you have the slots for the adjuster. So that's the first thing you're gonna take out, or one of the last that you actually install. Then we're gonna remove these two pins. Now you could have these pins on either side. Yep. Now that I've done that, looking at the slot here, you'll see some of the plastic being worn out, and that is a little bit scary to me. I don't know if you guys can see it properly, but you know, I've got some pretty bad scratching going on in there right now. Now that that's done, you gotta undo these two screws over here, because these hold the pump grip to the bolt sled. So I'm gonna just undo them slightly because I don't want to take them all the way out. You're in for a surprise why I'm doing this. But yep, just unscrew it, really simple, to the point that it has disengaged from the bolt sled, which is just like that. And then all you gotta do is just split them apart this way, like that. It's really simple. So that's the two halves that come apart. I'm gonna put this half aside, and let's talk about this. I don't know what they call this, the bolt carrier half, I don't know. But yep, it's a really simple construction. If you want to disassemble it even more, it's easy. Just grab the bolt sled and slide it out forward. That's that. Then for the plunger tube, you gotta push this aside. These two walls, just push them aside, and then you can pull the plunger tube right out. Just like that. And then you'll see the plunger tube actually has these grooves or these rails on the side. And then this tab on each side, you have those tabs as well. Those tabs actually sit into the inner wall or the inner notch of the blaster shell, and this leads me to think that maybe it's not going to be compatible with other kind of plunger tubes. I'm not so sure, but the cool thing is it comes pre-lubed. It is a very thin, very clear kind of lubrication. So right now, you know, like I mentioned, everything is just stock. Put this aside, and basically that is how it came in the box, you know, with that already pre-assembled. And then we got the spring here. It's a pretty beefy spring, and you've also got the catch plate in there. And of course, you know, those of us tinkerers, we can just unscrew all of these and split the shell apart. But yes, one of the first gripes is this. It bites into my hand. I'm gonna put this aside right here. Now let's focus on this, because this is where the next issue lies. I'm going to remove this thumb screw or the bolt sled screw, and then I'm going to show it to you guys. Look at the inner lip there. Look at how much plastic shaving it's got from the shell. And this is true on the other side as well. I'm shaking my head because this is quite scary. See that? So this tells you it's going to be quite dusty, okay? So now I've got all of the dust gathered there. The other side as well, right there. Now I'm going to pull the pump grip off the shell, and then take a look at this. Look at the slide right there. See all that? See all of that? It's been scratched up and scuffed up pretty badly. And alright, let's just try this. That's no joke. That's no joke. So tolerances are a little bit I want to say it in the nicest way possible. I think that tolerances could be better because and I've just been using this blaster for a few hours, you know. So next, I realized that these arms over here, these aluminium arms, I believe that they're aluminium, they aren't finished very well. You could see I guess the filing marks here. Even though the sides are, I would say, powder coated. This looks like powder coated to me, not anodized, but it looks like it was powder coated first, and then some work or machining work or filing work was done to get this shape, and you can still see the filing marks on this thing. But the problem here is that out here on the outside, on one side, basically the outside for me, at least on my arms, they're really sharp. You could feel the sharp edge, but if you do it on the inside, you realize that no, it's not present. So maybe what I will do is I will consider actually unscrewing this and flipping it over and reinstalling it. But the problem is that I'm gonna have to choose whether I want this two sharp edges that was not deburred to be scratching right here against the outside slot here, or having it scratch the inside here. So that is something else, you know, like maybe it should have been finished a little bit better. You could just take these two and then just deburr them, throw them into a stone washing rig or something, and just remove all these sharp edges, because this is really sharp. My goodness. Yeah, it's probably not gonna show up on camera. It's one of those kind of things where you actually have to feel it. But that sound though, that's just scary. And then of course I mentioned to you guys what I don't like about the grip itself, the ergonomics of the grip. It is really chunky and everything, like all this is really well thought out, but this part over here, especially for my thumb, this is like really uncomfortable. This is almost like a deal breaker for me. And the problem is, you guys are probably going to ask if you could use another kind of pump grip, and I'm going to tell you, unfortunately, no. I'm sorry guys. This slot right here is super wide. It is not like a Nerf rail kind of thing where most of the other pump grips actually run on. So I'm sorry guys, this ain't gonna work. Not even the long shot pumps are gonna work. Next, the Picatinny rails are actual Picatinny rails. They are 20mm. They look fine. They are, well, to answer you guys, the alignment is good. Don't have to worry about that. None of it is misaligned. The next thing is that there's one more step to the teardown, and I can't seem to get it right. So you see the barrel, you can actually remove it. You're supposed to apply pressure inwards and push the barrel out this way. With this tab over here, you're supposed to pull downwards at the same time. So I'm gonna have to pull down on this tab, which is actually quite uncomfortable because it's quite a small, narrow tab, while applying pressure to the barrel going in. So it's kind of like this. I'm really trying, guys. I felt like I almost got it, but no, it's not working. It's not working very well. Let's see if I can do it this way. Nah. I don't even think it's possible unless you employ the use of a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, but you also run the risk of damaging that gate over there. But it is one step that JET thought of to try to aid you in your maintaining process, so it's easier for you to maintain your barrel. And that's that, guys. That is my impressions, or my first impressions I should say, of the CEDA Blaster. I know that you guys are going to have a lot of questions. Just throw them in the comments below, and if I can, I will answer. And the reason why I'm speaking a bit funny is because I have an ulcer on my tongue right here. Yeah, so it's like, it's in the way. And to Elite Warrior, who had the really sharp eye and realized that I had a scratch on my hand, this is kind of like a scar now, which sucks. But you notice this chair, this brand new chair? Yeah, I scratched my hand on this chair. When I first bought it, you know how like furniture comes in like a plastic wrap, especially for the legs of a wheeled chair? You know, sometimes it feels good when you pull on the plastic and it stretches and then it finally snaps like BAM! And you get that, like, well, call me aggressive or whatever, but yeah, sometimes I get that kind of enjoyment doing that. So I wasn't paying attention, pulled this way, and I scratched my hand against one of the screws on the underside of the chair that was protruding out a little bit. And I didn't think it was a deep cut. I thought it was just, you know, like on the skin, and now it's scarred up, which kind of sucks. But yeah, guys, you know, just my first impressions of the CEDA for you guys. This barrel, I wish I could take it out on camera for you guys, but I really am struggling. I've been struggling for the past few hours trying to do that.
Firing is pretty okay. The thing feels really solid when you put it together, but the tolerances are something that is really making me a bit concerned about the entire longevity of the blaster. But apart from that, I've yet to try it with higher spring loads, but the bolt sleds look like they would work with other bolt sleds, like metal bolt sleds and stuff like that. I think that should work, but seeing the plunger tube setup, I am a little bit concerned that I might not be able to use like long shot plunger tubes as a replacement. And that's basically it. But good idea on this, having a double O-ring system and a dual facing magazine. And the one thing that concerned me the most was that how flimsy it was gonna be, because it's being held in by just 2 pins, and you guys saw it is actually pretty good. Yep. And that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching and sticking all the way throughout. I hope that I was able to share with you enough information in the meantime to satisfy your, I guess, your inquisitiveness and your curiosity about the CEDA blaster. And yeah, one more thing. A lot of you were asking how come I got the CEDA in the end. Well, to cut a long story short, after my run-in with the JET team, Alex aka Zorko contacted me and told me, you know, he could actually do a refund for me. He could raise it up if I wanted to, but from what he knew at the point of time, the CEDA was going to be released pretty soon, and according to him was like in a couple of months. And I was like, I've already waited for 4 months, another 2 months is not going to be any problem, so I just waited. And then nothing from him, but out of the blue, Jason, and if you guys don't know Jason, basically Jason's the boss of JET. Jason wrote me a message directly on Facebook and said he would do his utmost best to get a CEDA in my hands ASAP. And I was like, okay, well, if he says so, then I'm just gonna wait out and see if it happens. And then a while later, Alex contacted me and said it was gonna be in 2 months, another 2 months basically. And that 2 months turned into 4 months, and I was contacted saying, hey, the CEDA blaster is ready for collection. And so I have the CEDA right here. And well, I guess the silver lining out of all of it is that now that I've got it, probably one of the first on YouTube to make all these videos so that you guys know what you're getting into, especially for those on pre-order. And that's about it, really. Thank you, and I will catch all of you in the next episode, whenever that's gonna be. I don't know when, guys, really, because this video was done on a whim, because you guys are just awesome and it's so overwhelming. And I know that you guys really wanted to find out a little bit more, and so I hope that I managed to quench your thirst. So remember, everyone, drills pay the bills and teamwork makes the dream work. Peace!